Hey, just recording. Good to see you back with another one, man. Let's just go through a bunch of the pedals that I've. It's nighttime, that's why my voice is kind of low. Whenever the moon comes, my balls drop and I become like Super Sigma. My voice just gets deeper. Yeah, here are a bunch of the pedals. Pretty much all the pedals that. Well, that's not true. If you're a guitarist again, your board is never complete. But this is my ideal kind of collection of pedals and amps. So let's just go through everything. So this is the Meowdulator by Bees Music Shop. I actually had this pedal at a point, and then I sold it for full physical stuff to fund full physical stuff. Then over here we've got really I just found this on Google, and I downloaded it because I liked how it looked. I'm not necessarily going for this ray gun brand, but yeah, I basically downloaded this to signify that I need a channel switch of some sort. I actually don't have any experience when it comes to channel switches and stuff. Wait, that video's over. Yeah, that was quick. Yeah, no experience when it comes to channel switching and stuff. And by channel switching, for those who don't play guitar or who are just unfamiliar, it has to do with the amps. So amps will have different channels. One channel might be clean, another channel might be you could dedicate a second channel to a gainy sound or whatever. So yeah, that's something I'm looking to start dabbling in. You'll notice here that I have no distortion pedals on here actually. Well, I do here. Maybe I should switch over to this image. Yeah, this one is a bit more orderly, seen as there's a pedal board behind the pedals and stuff. So yeah, you see that I have no gain pedals on here, and yeah, it's by design because I want to utilize channel switches in my playing, because a lot of these amps, like all of these amps, actually have really great gain sounds, and I'm looking to utilize them. So yeah, since I'm here, I might as well speak about them. I've got a Bogner Ecstasy 101B over here, both the head and the cab, and I've got the Ashino's Luck 6V over here. And I basically kind of decided that I wanted these two amps and cabs, two amps. These two products. This one is a combo amp, and then this one is a separate amp and head, obviously. I basically decided that I wanted these because my favorite guitarist, Kensuke Kita of Asian Kung Fu Generation, he plays these amps, and he has done for a better part of their career. And I like his sound, so I'm thinking I could try and dial in a similar sound to his, or at the same time being original with my sound somehow simultaneously. And then behind that we have the Sun Model amp, Model T amp and head. Yeah, when I was first looking into buying distortion pedals, like actively deciding which distortion pedal I'd like to have, which sound I'd like to have, I stumbled upon a Model T style distortion, and I decided that, and I found that I enjoyed the sound of those kinds of pedals. Pedals based on the Model T. I never really paid much mind to the Model T itself. I just focused on that pedal that I liked, but it no longer suited my needs. because it was quite limited in its hardware. So I'm at this point now where I feel like just having a Sun model amp. I keep calling it a Sun model amp, a Sun Model T amp would be better and cooler, rather than you'll notice that a lot of these pedals are like really ambitious, and a lot of them are boutique. Yeah, I'm not looking to settle this time around, which is why I've gone ahead and listed amps such as the Sun Model T on here, amps that are very expensive, very rare, very sought after. I'm not looking to settle when it comes to which is why it's kind of which is why it's a dream pedal. It's a dream pedal board / dream gear list. But I'm determined to turn into a reality. And yeah, these amps, dude, they could go for like upwards of $4,000. Yeah, and then this Shino's amp, it can also go for. It actually does go for like 4 point something thousand USD. And then these Bogner amps, they're like $3,000 dollars. And I'm looking to run all of them at the same time. Actually, I know that's excessive, but yeah, again, I'm trying to get to a point where I don't have to compromise. Initially, I was just gonna run the Bogner and the Shinos, and switch between the two. You'll notice that I have an AB pedal here. This is actually an ABY, but yeah, my plan was to switch between these two because that's what Ken-san does in Asian Kung Fu Generation. That's what he does, and that's what he's been doing for a while. And I'm absolutely in love with his sound and his tone. So I figured if I wanted to achieve that tone, I should go ahead and get the hardware that he has, and yeah, I only decided to add the Sun model after the fact, after deciding upon having 2 amps, and then I figured I should just have 3 amps at once. So the plan is to have the Bogner as wow. This shit can actually get quite overwhelming. Actually, I realized as soon as I try to explain it that it can get quite overwhelming because the Bogner in itself has 3 channels, 3 dedicated channels, which I'm planning on using as like a clean tone for one channel, an overdriven tone, a mid-range. When I say mid-range, I mean like a mid-level overdrive. So it's not heavy overdrive, it's not light overdrive. And then for the third channel, I'm looking to I think these holes are the inputs for the channels. These holes right here. I don't know. And then for the third channel, I'll be using a heavy distortion. And then the Shinos will be a light overdrive tone, which I found that I need whenever I play. And then I realized that I need a fuzz sound because this is only distortion. I realized I need a fuzz sound. That's where the Model T comes in. That'll be my fuzz sound. I don't think I'll utilize. Oh, I can really zoom in here. I don't think I'll utilize the Model T just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. I don't feel like I don't think I'll utilize the Sun T amp for much more than its distorted sound, its fuzzy tone. It's great all around, but I have 2 other amps. I'll have 2 other amps whose tones I specifically want. I don't specifically want a clean tone from the sun. I'm sure it's great, but I only specifically want the first tone. So yeah, spoke about this ABY switch. It's by a company called Rattlesnake Cables. Yeah, pretty cool. I chose it because it has a cool illustration on the thing on the surface. But it's only an ABY switch, and I have 3 apps, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to go about that. How to go about just working with 3 apps simultaneously. But there is a device that allows for 2 amp heads to swap between one cabinet. I recently just looked that up. It's a thing. So I don't necessarily care for the Sun Model T cabinet. I only really care about the head. So if I really wanted to use this particular AB switch, right, I could just run that setup where I have, let me see if I can pull up the Model T head, if I still have it in here. Yeah. Where is it? Hold on. Yeah, I could run something like this where I have these 2 amp heads going into this cabinet. You know, in the event of me being hell bent about using an AB switch. Again, there's another device that allows for this kind of setup. And I think this setup is cooler. Well, it's more efficient because trying to run 3 cabs essentially is a little excessive. I'll be honest. So two cabs will do, and then 2 heads will do as well. Okay, and then next we have the Kinotone ribbons. Again, I've had this before. Sold it for 4 physical as well. This time around I'll be getting this blue pedal. Previously I had a gray one which I painted pink, but this time around I'll get this blue. I always did like this blue, this teal rather. You know, it's turquoise. Yeah, I like this color, so I'd get that. Though these pedals, these teal pedals, are the earlier versions of the Kinotone, meaning that their firmware isn't up to date. You know, like how the pink ones and the gray ones are. But you can just update the firmware with the USB, which I'm keen to do actually, because I've never done that with a Kinotone ribbon. So I'd love to do that. And yeah, I love this enclosure. Pretty cool. There's a couple of ways I can get one. I could either, because again, this is the older version, right? So chances are it's not as available as the newer version. So if ever this enclosure ran out or whatever, I would try to contact the team at Kinotone. They're pretty available. They're pretty in touch with their audience. So I'm pretty sure I can arrange something with them. If not, I'll just speak to someone who has this pedal. Maybe I'll just go to Reddit or something and be like, yo guys, who has the Kinotone ribbons with the teal enclosure? Can we perhaps swap enclosures, or could I perhaps buy it off of you? Whatever. Yeah, I'll sort something out. I'm not about to be defeated over such a small thing. So, and then next I have the MXR layers over here. It's a pretty cool sustainer. Yeah, really cool sustainer. I love it. Then over here I have a Line 6 Verbzilla. I like the look of this. That's what enticed me to check it out, and then I found out that I quite enjoyed the sounds of it as well. So it's not it's not it's great all around, but some of these modes can get pretty whack. But um, a few of them can get really great, and that's the attitude that I'm looking to be in when it comes to pedals and stuff. I'm looking to utilize pedals for very specific tasks, as opposed to using pedals for everything that they have to offer. So yeah. Plus that way, plus trying to use a pedal for everything that has to offer can get very overwhelming for you, and it can get pretty impractical in a live sense, because you'll have to kneel down to your pedal board and switch stuff around on the fly, which can get tedious. Over here I have an Ibanez analog delay. Typically, a pet peeve of mine is having two of the same pedal two of the same pedals from the same pedal brand. I'm not sure if I phrased that correctly, but yeah, I have an Ibanez over here, and then I have an Ibanez over here. This is an Ibanez WH 10 V2. It's a wall pedal. It looks great, and it has a cool function where you'll see there's a button over here. It's not a button, it's a knob. You turn it and it adjusts not the frequency, that's the updated version. One of the newer ones, which I didn't really like the optics of, which is why I opted for this pedal. This one kind of adjusts I forget what it adjusts. Yeah, the range of the sweep. So the sweep isn't extremely harsh, which yeah, a lot of the cheaper wah pedals can get very harsh because they don't have controls such as this, which is understandable because they're cheap, right? So they're not obviously not going to offer the same kind of specs as the pricey ones. I have an EQD tuner over here. Did it have to be EQD? No. Did I want it to be EQD because I wanted to diversify the pedal board? Yes. Do I have a problem with EQD? No. Have I owned a Big Muff before? Yeah. Do I like I say EQD, Electro Harmonics. Sorry, I actually do have a problem with EQD. You'll notice here that I don't have any Earthquaker Devices pedals on you, and that's because a year or so ago they released a limited edition pedal that I wanted and that I couldn't get. So since then I've been pretty mad at them. It's actually a long story, and it can get quite disgruntling to recall. But to put it simply, I'm not a big fan of EQD. What I meant to say was Electro Harmonics. Yeah. Do I like Electro Harmonics? Yeah. Do I like the Big Muff? I don't love it. I like it. Yeah, I don't have I do have a problem with it, but I like hearing it in other people's music. I don't like hearing it in my own riffs or whatever. But I will like to have a product of theirs on my board, and that'll be the tuner. And then over here we have the Are You Surprised at That The Devil Is Like Me pedal, which is a mouthful. I like it though. It's reminiscent of like light novels. I know the Japanese love very long titles. It's cool, it's distinct. So this is by a pedal brand called Project Siva. If you're Japanese, you'll pronounce the S as a sh, as some people do for some reason. I don't know, man. We all talk very differently. I like the illustration. It's a delay pedal, a very basic delay pedal, I might add, but it has a cool function, cool functions actually that absolutely just enticed me. I've been eyeing this. I've had my eye on this brand for a while, but this is the first time I really decided upon a particular pedal that I would like to have. Yes, the optics of this pedal are good enough to entice me, but you'll remember I've been trying to stay away from that philosophy, because it only ever led to me buying pedals that I liked looking at, but didn't really enjoy the sound quality of, you know, maybe not the sound quality, but the just the general sound of, so yeah, this pedal is incredible. Again, it's the Are You Surprised at That The Devil Is Like Me pedal by Sound Project Siva. Yeah, has I forget what this shit's called. It's like I forget, dude, but it kind of senses movement, and I had never seen a pedal do that ever in my life. Ever in my life, this is a unique pedal to me. If you move your hand above it, the sound reacts. And this switch over here, or this foot switch over here, it causes the pedal to oscillate and shit. It's really cool. This pedal right here oscillates as well, but this one is more intentional and is more practical with its oscillation, because you hold down the foot switch and it oscillates. With this, you would have to, unless you made do with like shifting the knob with your foot, you'd have to bend down and turn the knob, much like many oscillation capable pedals, such as this Terra Echo, which I'm going to speak about in a moment. Yeah, you'd have to turn the knob with somehow, whether and with your hand or with your foot, and that can kind of get it can be I don't know how to put it. It can get quite can feel like homework, essentially, like you're doing a bit too much with your body in order to get a sound. But yeah, I enjoy it though. I like yeah, I'll be doing that with my foot still, in addition to just using the foot switch on here, which is more practical. And they provide two different oscillation sounds and stuff. Three different oscillation sounds actually, because this switch right here changes the oscillation type. Anyway, yeah, and I mentioned this one has oscillation as well. So plenty of oscillation here. I'm a huge fan of random sounds, feedbacking sounds and shit. Modulator. It is a hold on. It's a synth pedal. It meows when you activate it. Simple as that. You hold down the foot switch, it purrs. Simple as that. I do want to use it, um, quite frequently whenever I play riffs, and like whenever I end up being in a band or whatever. I'd like to use that frequently. Because this is definitely one of those pedals where you could easily just have it on your board and then never use it because of how silly it can sound. But yeah, we need to look past that. Terra Echo, it's a delay pedal. You'll remember that I said this is a delay pedal as well, but I said that it's a rather basic delay. I'm not a huge fan of that. This one, however, is pretty cool in the sense that it's modulated. It's modulated. It's bassy. It's cool. The only boss pedal I really like, and I'll get in that in a second. Another thing that I want to say is that before I blank, yeah, I think I blanked. Yeah, I guess I'll just talk about how this is the only boss pedal that I like. Not a huge fan of boss, mainly because of a terrible first impression. I remember when I first got into pedals, I had boss pedals, and then I ran them into shit that was into shit that weren't amps. like guitar amps, and then I got a sound that I wasn't particularly keen on, which subsequently put me off of Boss pedals. So yeah, but then I like this one so much that I put it on here. So yeah, shout out Boss, man. Oh yeah, the thing that I blanked on. A lot of people call this pedal a one-trick pony. Um, you'll remember I said that I kind of want every pedal to have a dedicated sound and a dedicated function. So this being a one-trick pony is not a bad, it's not a bad trait at all in the case of this dream board of mine. I actually quite hate it when a pedal does too much. Case in point, this pedal. This pedal does way too much. It can get very overwhelming, and you just feel like you're not getting the bang for your buck whenever you play a pedal that just does too much. That performs functions that other pedals of yours performs and stuff. So you just feel like you're missing out overall, unless you're being obnoxious and just running everything and using all the pedals that you possibly can from your board. And then here we have the Juliana by Walrus Audio. Yeah, great distortion. Whoa, that video's over. Yeah, by Walrus Audio. Great chorus slash vibrato. Plenty of functionality. Again, this is one of those pedals that can very easily can get overwhelming. But I feel like once you get the hang of it, you can land on a sound that you can pretty much rely on full time without feeling like you're missing out a whole lot. Especially if you try to balance shit out. Like if you try to get a little bit of the vibrato and a little bit of the chorus and stuff. So you won't ever feel like you're missing out if you balance the sounds, I guess. Either that or I'll just figure out a sound that I enjoy best and then stick with that. And then hopefully I'll like that so much that I won't feel the need to, or I won't feel like I'm missing out on not utilizing the other sounds or whatever. Or like in the future, I could just switch the sounds. It's not a problem. It's not a problem, dude. You don't have to. Hold on, let me take a sip of my water. You don't have to pledge your allegiance to a sound or whatever. Yes, you want to be faithful in re this is in the case of a live setting, just recreating the sounds in your music, whatever, to some degree, to some faithful degree. But you don't have to, commit to one sound and one sound only. Yeah, that's a concept and a belief that I battle with. Because a part of me wants to stick to one sound, and then another part of me is like, dude, change and change is good. There's nothing wrong with change. So I just need to find a balance with that. Yeah, switches here for the channels. They're not exactly going to look like this. Again, I just had these on here to notate that, because I actually don't know what they're going to look like. I'm going to have to talk to my more inclined friends about switches and stuff. But I would like a switch that has 3-foot switches only. I don't want to have a unit that has more foot switches than I need, because I won't utilize any of them, and it's just gonna look very clunky. Yeah, and that's everything. I have the Mua power supply. I actually had the Mua Macro Power S8. And then again, I sold that for physical. um yeah, so in the case of like this board or this setup, I'd have to get a large power supply such as this. Would this actually power my pedal? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12, I guess, by the if the channel switches needed power. So yeah, this would power this particular board. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This setup can run me between like 10 to 15,000 USD. Hold on. And then this sort of file is a file that I decided to make in order to just list all the pedals I'd like to have, not in any sort of order or whatever. Like, for example, this pedal by Catalan Bread. I don't know the actual brand just yet, but I do know this pedal. Yeah, such as this pedal. I'd like to have this pedal on a board of mine, like in the place of a pedal that I don't feel like using on a particular day or whatever. You know, here's another pedal by the same brand as this pedal over here. So yeah, this is where I put all the pedals that I'd like to have. You know, I've got a Machina 2. By the way, this is a chorus pedal. This is a chorus pedal. I'm checking here. It's called Only Flowers Know Our Secret Talk, which is a great name, dude. I love these names, these light novel names. I love the art as well. It reminds me of the manga that I used to read as a kid. You know, super cool stuff, bro. This is Yuri, I'm guessing. I read Yaoi as a kid. Anyway, this is the yeah, I read Yaoi because I was just reading manga indiscriminately. So I picked up a Yaoi book and I actually quite liked it because it was fantastical. Okay, I'm done explaining myself. Over here is the Model FET by Electronic Audio Experiments. I was thinking of getting this pedal before I ultimately decided that I'd like to have a Model Sun. Again, I fucked the name up. A Sun Model T amp. But I decided against having a pedal like this over in favor of the Sun amp because I just didn't like its enclosure. This enclosure is nice, but this sold out, and it doesn't seem like anyone on planet Earth has these. I've been looking for a while. Doesn't seem like anyone on Earth has these enclosures. The basic enclosures are bare aluminium, bro. I almost said aluminum. I never say it like that. Yeah, the basic ones are just plain aluminium, which doesn't look good in my eyes. Like, dude, how fucking lazy. Like, put some design, you know. I'm at a point where I don't really care about design, but even at this point, dude, like, come on, dude, just bare aluminium. That cannot function. That cannot work. So, yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll be adding more pedals here. As you know, the hunger for pedals never stops. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to just being at a point where I can just get shit like this without it being a huge deal. Again, this shit can run me like over, including the amps, this can run me over like 10,000 USD, 15,000 USD, all of that. I'm trying to get there, you know. And yeah, here's to hope, and thanks for listening to me ramble on and on about pedals that I don't even have. I'm trying to see if there's anything here that I'd like to show you. And that's pretty much it. Here's an earlier working of the pedal board. Thanks for listening, man. 2026, we're going hard. I'll see you in the next one.